and welcome to RNM Podcast. In our earlier episode with Yukti Nagpal, director Gulshan Group, we spoke about her childhood and how coming to the family owned business of real estate wasn't her natural choice. Now we'll talk about how she transformed the entire working of the company, what are the challenges that she faced, and what are her plans going ahead. Welcome to the show, Yukti.
Thank you, Palash. Hi.
Hi. Uh, we were talking about how you came into the business and how you transformed. Now tell us what are the challenges that you faced, both because the business is owned by your father and also as a woman. What are the challenges that you faced?
This is a question that I've answered about 1,000 times. And I tell you, it's difficult to answer it almost every single time. Because it is said to believe that when you join your father's business, या जैसे बचपन में सुनते थे पापा की दुकान पे बैठ जाना, इससे इजी तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. दैट्स द मोस्ट इजीएस्ट थिंग टू डू. आपके पापा ने बनाया, आप जाके गद्दी संभालो. ऐसा बचपन में लगता था. ऐसा बचपन से आज मतलब जब तक स्टार्ट किया तब तक लगता था until it actually happens. What no one tells you is that you're constantly compared by the journey of your father. You're constantly judged कि तुम में है भी वो. I mean, despite Amitabh Bachchan being the most successful man, Abhishek Bachchan has a much harsher critic to him, no matter how good he acts or how good he performs. So that lens of judgment is a constant, and you will eventually learn to live with it. I have learned to live with it. So I think if I have to explain in a nutshell, that is the biggest challenge I have faced, and I think I speak for all the second generation entrepreneurs, that it is tough to make your space in a sultanate created by your father. It is very tough.
It bothered you?
It did many times. There were days that I would cry at work that I can't do this anymore. It's too tough to explain to the world and the rest of the organization that you too are making sense. You too are intelligent. Maybe not even a percentage of what your father is, but I mean, I'll get there eventually. Give me a chance to let me speak. Hear me out. All of those feelings were very natural in the beginning. But despite how much it bothered me, it definitely never broke me because, I mean, it just made me even more resilient. It just made me, motivated me a lot more to kind of prove myself. I know that I didn't have to. I could have just been another low key employee who would come to the office, do their job, go home without thinking about what I'm contributing, without thinking about how I'm taken seriously. पैसे तो आ ही जाएंगे घर में उसमें क्या है. That was always a choice, but just not how I was raised, so it couldn't settle with me. In the previous episode, we talked about how joining real estate was never my first choice. Why it wasn't my first choice? Because since I was a child, I always wanted to create my own identity. I am very grateful for the life I've had. I was born with a silver spoon, and life has been very very kind to me. But वो एक अंदर से there was an ambition to be known as Yukti Nagpal, not just Gulshan Nagpal's daughter. And I don't mean that in any derogatory or offensive way. I have the utmost respect for my father, and but that was my ambition, you know, and that's why I never wanted to go the easy way. That was joining my father's company. Little did I know that that might be the toughest thing I'll have to do in my life. I didn't know that. I mean, 9 to 5 at a stranger's office would be so much better. That would be a cakewalk at this point. But no, yeah. So those were that ambition is what drove me to keep fighting and to keep trying to prove myself, prove my worth, to make the company understand that I too am making sense and I too can am capable, can do something if not everything. So it was a journey of, I would say, 4 years. And there is something my father always says, even today, कि मेहनत इतनी खामोशी से करो कि तरक्की शोर मचा दे. And that's exactly what I did. खामोशी से मेहनत करी हमने, डायनेस्टी बनाया, और उसकी तरक्की तो अब शोर मचा ही रही है. So I'm now a name, I've made an identity for myself. And yeah, I'm getting a little bit emotional because it was a difficult journey, but definitely the most rewarding I've ever felt. एंड ये चाहे वुमन हो या मैन हो, ये स्ट्रगल तो हर सेकंड जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए आएगी. विमेन के लिए थोड़ी सी एक्स्ट्रा हो जाती है, बिकॉज आई मीन नाउ इट्स नॉट सो बैड ऑनेस्टली, बट व्हेन आई जॉइन आई वाज probably the only woman sitting in the boardroom. Today we have drastically changed that number, and we will continue to do so. And hopefully in the next 2 years we are targeting to have a 50-50% men women ratio in the office. But when I joined 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. Nobody was talking about it. And women were generally not, I mean, it was very rare to see women entrepreneurs. तो वो चैलेंजिंग तो होता है. यू women are always supposed to work double to prove their worths and to get the money that they deserve. It's a universal thing. I'm not going to talk too much about it,
But
but
more so in real estate, that women are very uh, not so common in this particular industry.
they are not, because the buyers are not comfortable with dealing with women. There's a perception set around women that women's job is to look pretty and sit, men's job is to do the numbers and bring the money home. ये पेट्रियार्कल परसेप्शन बहुत सालों से हमारे देश में, हमारी पूरे दुनिया में चलता आ रहा है. Thankfully, I've been grateful enough to witness it drastically changing. Today, whether you're a man or a woman, at least in the part of world I operate in, it's about your merit. It's not about your gender. I know that I would never offer a woman lesser salary just because she's a woman. I know that. And I know that nobody will do that with me. So I think one by one, those things are correcting. And it's people like me and other colleagues that I have in the industry who are striving every day to bring that balance, to bring that strive, and to show the world that women can ace wherever we go, provided we are given an equal opportunity. I've been very grateful to get more than an equal opportunity. Most people are never heard in most of their lives. I had the opportunity to be heard, and well, a platform was given to me कि जा सिमरन जा जी ले अपनी जिंदगी, बना ले अपनी डायनेस्टी. तो बना लिया फिर हमने. बट ये सबको नहीं मिलता है. एंड आई होप विद दिस whoever is watching and whoever in all the women who think that ये तो हमारा रास्ता ही नहीं है, why to fight a difficult fight. I think we should. It's very important to do that, because if more of us don't step out of our comfort zone, how will we make history and how will we change the world? So we got to do it.
If not real estate, what would have been the natural choice of your profession?
Advertising, for sure. I've, I even interned at a few ad agencies, and I like the adrenaline rush that you get when creating new campaigns and solving a problem basically. So advertising definitely. Or well, if I'm going to tell you the intellectual second stream, then I would have been a writer.
So you do writing?
I do. I write. Nothing that is available for anybody to read. It it started long ago when I was in school. I used to write poems back then, and I had like a big book collected of, I don't know, 100, 200 poems that I had written throughout my school life. Unfortunately, I lost them. And then as life grew, we grew busier. I never used to get the time to write, because writing is a whole, it needs your mental space, it needs peace, it needs that time and energy to think, create, put it out, express. You can't do it in a hustle bustle, very busy life. You just can't. So writing took a back seat.
But you plan to write something in the future and get your works published?
That's an interesting question. That was not on the agenda, Palash. But to tell you the truth, I've very recently written my first book. And just on January 26th, I gifted it to my father, because it's a book about him, about his life, his journey. and what have I learned from his journey. So the name of the book is a daughter's letters to her father, and it is not up for public to read yet, but I hope to publish it someday once I have his consent.
And thereafter, you plan to write more, publish more books.
Stay tuned.
What are your hobbies, Yukti?
Okay. So I picked up a very recent hobby during the COVID, that is cooking. I didn't know that I liked it, and I'm good at it apparently. So that is something that really relaxes me. I'm also a dancer. I am a social dancer, Latin social dancer, and these are pretty much the two active hobbies I have right now. But if anyone knows me, they also know that my hobbies keep changing every few years. So maybe in the next 4 years, it will be something else.
So, how often it is that Yukti Nagpal is cooking at home?
Usually on Sundays.
And what are the dishes that you like to cook?
I usually like to make Indian food. I prefer that the most. Not that I don't know other cuisines, but it's my comfort meal, some chicken curry or any kind of curries for that matter with rice. That's my comfort meal, and that's usually what I like to cook. Although my sister loves the pastas I make, and my father loves the grilled chicken I do, and my mother loves another curry that I make, and the garlic breads that I make. So I know a lot of food, but tend to stick to my few favorites.
So cooking is one, and what is the other that you said?
Dancing,
Dancing.
salsa dancing.
You take some. You have. Are you a trained dancer?
I am a trained dancer, yes. Not an advanced one, but an intermediate dancer. And it's been almost 3 years that I've been actively dancing. Yeah.
So it's a daily routine that you follow.
It's not
Dancing.
a daily routine. No, it's not. It's usually once or twice a week. I usually only dance when I go to socials. Before that, I used to dance every day when I was training. So after my training was complete, now it's just social dancing.
Now, what's your dream project with Gulshan?
This is a very loaded question, I have to tell you, because what I've realized in the last 10 years is that dreams keep evolving. Up until Gulshan Dynasty, that was my ultimate dream project. But क्या है ना, हम इंसान लोग कभी satisfied नहीं होते हैं. We always aim for more and more and more. And I can't say there is one dream project that I have, but I definitely want to keep improving on the offerings, luxurious offerings that are there in this industry for the entire country. I don't want to stick to North India. I want to expand the horizon of Gulshan. And I want that everybody in the whole country can know what kind of luxury Gulshan can offer and deliver, and improve it with every next project. So it's an ongoing process. Today I'll do something, the next project will be a little bit better than that, and then after that it'll be a little bit better than that. So it's a long journey. I see myself doing it for the rest of my career.
And it's a strategic, conscious decision to stick on to luxury only segment. Now you are not going to go back to the mass segment or the mid segment.
See, in 2021, we announced that for the next 5 years, Gulshan is going to stick to just luxury, and that is the forte for now. 5 years will end next year, so maybe we'll try to expand our horizon then. As of now, as of this year, that's what we're doing.
Thanks, Yukti. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so
It was
much,
lovely
Palash.
speaking to you.
I also want to give a little ending statement. I don't think I would ever agree to do this with anybody, but it's you. And for everybody who's watching, you must know that the first interview I ever gave was Palash. The first podcast I'm ever giving is Palash. And my journey from my first interview to this podcast has, in between, the training that has been given to me by him at every little step, at every recording. So I thank you for being a great mentor and for training me so well.
Thanks for your kind words, Yukti. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Palash.
That was Yukti Nagpal, Director, Gulshan Group. Keep watching RNM Podcast. Thank you.